Listening is like the hidden force in conversations that shapes our relationships and society. A friend who listens well can change your life through a simple chat, even though we often remember what they said more than how well they listened. We express ourselves in many ways, but talking about listening is hard and doesn't have clear words. Philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein believed that the limits of our words also limit our understanding of the world. If that's true, maybe we lack a common language about listening. Some interesting listening terms come from experts, but they don't always reach everyday conversations. For example, terms like remanence, the lingering sound we can no longer hear, and phonotony, the joy we feel from sounds, were created to help us appreciate sound better. Composer Pauline Oliveros introduced the idea of deep listening, which includes everything we can hear in a space. One notable writer who changed our understanding of listening is the poet Rainer Maria Rilke. Later in life, he referred to himself not just as a writer but as a receiver of sounds and experiences. His new perspective on listening played a key role in his most famous poems. As we lack a clear listening can be thought of as the unseen force that shapes our conversations, relationships, and society. While we often remember what someone says, the act of truly listening is rarely acknowledged. A good listener can profoundly impact our lives, turning ordinary discussions into meaningful exchanges. Yet, despite its importance, discussing listening and its nuances is challenging, as we lack a clear vocabulary surrounding it. Philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein suggested that the limits of our language also limit our understanding of the world. If this is the case, it could explain why our vocabulary for listening is underdeveloped. Much of the terminology related to listening comes from specialized fields, preventing it from entering common use. For instance, Jean-François Augoyard and Henry Taube compiled terms like remanence, which describes the continuation of sound that we can no longer hear, and phonotony, the pleasurable feeling evoked by certain sounds. Such words help us explore the depth of sound, yet they remain largely unknown to the public. Composer Pauline Oliveros introduced the concept of deep listening, which embraces the idea of perceiving sound within the entire space and time continuum. This approach allows for a richer appreciation of our acoustic environment. Additionally, R. Murray Schafer coined the term soundmark to identify sounds of particular significance to specific communities, highlighting the relationship between sound and cultural identity. A key figure in exploring the concept of listening is the poet Rainer Maria Rilke. In his later years, Rilke began to see himself as a receiver of sounds and experiences, rather than just a creator of words. This shift in perspective deeply influenced his poetry, leading him to produce some of his most acclaimed works. Rilke's approach reminds us of the power of listening in understanding ourselves and the world around us, emphasizing its role in enriching our human experience.